The Jade Rabbit is an exotic kinetic scout rifle released during the Curse of Osiris DLC. The recent PvP buff to 150 RPM aggressive frames has caused a new wave of popularity for this weapon, and all the Jade Rabbit mains have crawled out of the woodworks to show their newfound strengths. This is a very steady and smooth shooting weapon, and if you learn it and get used to it, it can be very confidence-inducing knowing that if you can see your target, you can probably kill it. If you want to know what makes the Jade Rabbit special compared to the legendary options, keep watching. This video will cover its stats and perk pool, weapon behavior, obtainability, recommended rolls, and overall performance in both PvE and PvP activities. Hopefully, by the end of this, you'll have just a little more information to work with when making your next build. Let's break this down. At base, the Jade Rabbit has 80 range, 40 stability, 21 handling, 54 reload speed, 10 magazine size, 80 aim assistance, 29 airborne effectiveness, 20 zoom, and 100 recoil direction. With base perks, it gets brought up to 85 range and 50 stability, and with the catalyst applied, the stability is further increased to 80. It is a 150 rounds per minute high impact frame with a damage fall off of around 85 meters. In PvP, it deals 73.5 crit and 42 body, needing 2 crits and 1 body to kill tier 4 resilience or below, and 3 crits for all resilience tiers with a time to kill of 0.8 seconds. In PvE, it deals 3950 crit and 2251 body against Carl. Compared to the average legendary kinetic 150 scout rifle, the stat package of the Jade Rabbit is incredibly min-maxed. The zoom is a little lower at 20, the range and reload speed are both a good bit higher while the handling and magazine size are noticeably lower. The airborne effectiveness is decently high, but with how valuable crits are, I suggest firing with your feet on the floor. The stats to note are stability, aim assistance, and recoil direction. The stability with Catalyst is a monstrous 50 points higher than average, the aim assistance is more than 40 points higher, and the recoil direction is about 25 points higher at a perfect 100. This stat package is why the Jade Rabbit feels so smooth to use. Aside from the fairly sluggish handling, when you're firing this weapon, or when you're taking flinch, the reticle barely budges. Alongside the stability, the high range and absurd aim assist means that if your target's head is anywhere near the reticle, it'll just gift you that headshot. We'll cover how this feels later. In terms of perks, the intrinsic exotic perk is the Fate of All Fools. It states, chain body shots to gain bonus damage on your next precision shot and return ammo to the magazine. According to Pippin's Destiny data compendium, non-precision hits grant an invisible stack to the perk, maxing out at 4. Reloading, missing, or landing a precision hit removes all stacks. Each stack of the perk grants the next precision hit a 7% damage bonus up to 28%, and 2 rounds returns the magazine up to 8. In PvP, this perk allows a crit body crit or body crit crit to kill tier 7 resilience or below, which helps with 3-shot kills. It should be noted, however, that currently, this perk does not activate consistently in PvP, and often does not apply the damage increase part of the perk. There does not appear to be any way around this consistency, at least as of the making of this video. In PvE, this perk brings the crit damage against Carl to 4215 at times 1, 4524 at times 2, 4788 at times 3, and 5053 at times 4. For the other perks, Column 1 has polygonal rifling, Column 2 has high caliber rounds, and Column 3 has Zen Moment. Unlike most exotics, the Jade Rabbit does not have an extra exotic perk outside of the intrinsic one. There's not much to note here perk-wise aside from the Fate of All Fools. The draw of this weapon is in its stat package with Catalyst, not a unique effect or fancy interaction. All weapon footage and testing have been done on mouse and keyboard with a field of view setting of 105. What I noticed the most about the Jade Rabbit, after a few games with it, is that it's a very comfortable weapon to use. It gives a feeling that if I want a bullet to go somewhere, it'll go there without trouble. While I could not even notice Zen Moment being there, it didn't need to be for those shots to feel smooth. The reticle sways very little when moving and is very steady when firing. The aim assist is also so high that I often ended up hitting headshots around corners while aiming above people's shoulders. It gives this weapon a very simple feeling. You just point it where you want and you shoot. No need to deal with strong recoil or any weird quirks. The only issues are at really close ranges where the 20 zoom sight might make it a bit awkward to aim, but even then it still shoots steadily. Speaking of the sight, it also highlights enemies with a bright outline, a trait I believe to be a massive upside for any weapon. I'm going to go on a tangent here. I am someone with some visual impairments, and I have trouble at times with contrast. I have a high-end monitor and specific hardware settings in order to remedy this. In other shooters I play, such as Valorant and Overwatch, they have enemy outlines and clear environments, and this becomes largely a non-issue. In Destiny 2, however, this problem is present. This game has fog, a lot of dark areas, and a lot of blinding light sources. These elements affect visibility, especially if you have these impairments. Changing settings and colorblind modes also do not help much. I rate sights with outlines so highly because, for people like me, it makes the game feel normal. I personally think this is an accessibility problem, and one that should be changed. But I don't know if Bungie sees it this way. So until those changes happen, if you're in the same boat as me, where you're frustrated by your enemies blending into fog or dark areas and blinding lights, it might be worth to try a weapon with a highlight sight, like the Jade Rabbit. Tangent over. The Jade Rabbit is pretty easy to get, as far as I'm aware. It's been around for a long time, so most Guardians should have it already. And if you don't, it should just be a random exotic weapon drop. It'll likely just drop over time, and Xur's exotic engrams could also help with getting it. As for the catalyst, I'm pretty sure it drops randomly from activities if you don't have it. If you don't have the catalyst and can't seem to get it to drop, my recommendation is to finish any catalyst that you own but haven't completed. To finish the catalyst itself requires 250 Crucible opponent defeats. It's pretty straightforward, but it can take a bit of time. If you want to make the process easier, I recommend playing in Momentum Control or Momentum Clash. There are no recommended roles for the Jade Rabbit as it is a fixed role exotic. As for PvE performance, it's pretty poor. The exotic perk isn't very useful as no combination of crits and body shots deal better damage than just landing crits, and the ammo refund isn't very useful either. Deadman's Tail is way better at everything PvE wise, so there's no reason to use the Jade Rabbit. All weapon performance testing has been done with one copy of the appropriate targeting, dexterity, loader, and unflinching mods, and without weapon boosting exotics or class options, such as Ophidian aspects or On Your Mark. Once again, there are no recommended roles as this is a fixed role exotic. Currently, the Jade Rabbit performs really well in the Crucible. 150 aggressive frame scouts have, in my opinion, always been stronger than people gave them credit for. Now that they have just a little more consistency from the recent buff, more people are starting to feel comfortable with using them. And when it comes to 150 scouts, I believe none of them are better in the neutral game than the Jade Rabbit. Now should be a good time to mention that I am a scout rifle main. It has been my favorite type of weapon in Destiny 2 since the day it launched, though there was a very long period where I was a hand cannon snipe player. I have more kills on Deadman's Tail in the Crucible than the rest of my kinetic weapons combined, and that trend will continue in the future. So it's important to note that scout rifles are naturally a slower and more passive weapon than most others. I will be praising the Jade Rabbit a lot, but if you are someone whose preferred engagement range in the Crucible is 20 meters and in, you'll probably never like using it. With that out of the way, the confidence I get when using this weapon is very enjoyable. I know that my bullets will be on target as long as I'm not jumping, although the aim assist is so forgiving I can feel it actively making me worse at aiming. The handling can be slow, but with the right mods, it's nothing a little bit of pre-aiming can't get around. I've talked about how steady this weapon is a lot, and I cannot stress how important that is to giving me all this confidence. With 80 stability, tier 10 resilience, and an unflinching mod, you get 43.3% flinch reduction, 47% if you run double unflinching. I am never frustrated with this weapon because it's so reliable. Even at close range, I know that if I miss a shot, it's entirely my fault, given the magic bullets this thing seems to shoot with 80 aim assist. Loadout wise, while I wouldn't pair any scout rifle that is in DMT with a sniper rifle, it does pair very well with almost everything else. Fusions of your preferred archetype, shotguns too, although I always prefer slugs, grenade launchers if you're into that, and SMGs and sidearms work as well. Overall, you can expect a very reliable, if a little slower experience from this weapon. If that is what you're looking for, I say give it a go. The Jade Rabbit is an old but very reliable scout rifle with a smooth shooting experience. The target highlighting sight helps get around the poor visibility of some maps, and the incredible stat package keeps your shots on target in a fight. It's a bit slow and not very handy up close, but if you keep a little bit of breathing room, your 3 taps will be very consistent. If you like scout rifles but want a smoother experience that the legendary offerings might lack, this could be the weapon for you. If you've enjoyed this video, a like would be appreciated, and subscribe if you want more. Feel free to comment below with your own experiences, any other weapons you'd like to see, or any changes you want to suggest for the videos in general. Thank you and take care.